In getting started with your DBQ essay, perhaps you can just start brainstorming, open up a Word document and start brainstorming, or rather open up the Google Doc template that I've given you, and you can start brainstorming there. And from that Google Doc, you can just modify and edit as you continue to compose. So let's go to that Google document where your final essay should be composed and where you will submit your assignment. Let's go to that. So if we start here in Unit 3 and we go to Synthesis Essay, at the end of the list of folders here, there's the Manifest Destiny essay. So go ahead and open that Google Doc. And inside of that Google Doc, when you open here in progress, mine says in progress, but yours says my document. When you open that Google Doc there, just start brainstorming some ideas. Ask yourself, what is Manifest Destiny? Try and begin defining what is Manifest Destiny. What are some pushes and pulls of Manifest Destiny? Why do people go out west? That sort of thing. So begin brainstorming. Don't write the question or type. Don't type the question, what is Manifest Destiny? But consider the question, what is Manifest Destiny, as you start the composition. So do some brainstorming here. Again, don't start your essay with that question. Start your essay with the phrase, perhaps, Manifest Destiny was. You could, a time period, blah, 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 blah. That's where you want to begin. Okay, so after contextualization, and I would say you want to have here in this Google Doc, you want to have probably 3-4 sentences of contextualization where you're explaining the broader historical context, that there's a wave of settlers that are migrating west. A lot of these settlers are coming from the eastern states, and they're going into what is not America. Oh, here's maybe the Mormons. That's something that you might squeeze in here. Perhaps you can put it in later in your essay. So what was Manifest Destiny? The Panic of 1837. Okay, that's something else. So we haven't yet identified that. You might identify here as a cause of westward expansion and westward migration, maybe even the election of 1844 and James K. Polk. Okay, so what was Manifest Destiny? Go ahead there. And then at the end here of this first paragraph, you're going to put your thesis statement at the end. Okay, so what is the thesis statement, and how do I compose that? All right, take a look here in the folder that is Contextualization and Thesis. Folder that is Contextualization and Thesis, this sample thesis statement here. I have given you a sample thesis statement which you can't use, but I've also given you a template that you can use. I've also given you guys the opportunity on the 6th of January, you can compose a thesis statement, post it to a thread. I will review it and give you some feedback on that thesis statement, because it's one of the most important parts of your essay. So I want to be able to give you some feedback on that. Okay, so here's a sample thesis that you cannot use, as well as a template for drafting a thesis. Sample. Manifest Destiny was caused by the extreme belief in American exceptionalism, while influenced greatly by white supremacy. It deteriorated the populations of Native people and ignored the sovereignty of nations, and was essentially negative in that it devalued the foundational principle that all men are created equal. Okay, so I've got here in the first line, that is a cause. Caused by extreme belief in American exceptionalism while being influenced greatly by white supremacy, cause. Then the effect, it deteriorated the population of Native people and ignored the sovereignty of nations, effect, and was you cannot straddle the fence. You have to go either positive or negative, and I went with negative in the sample thesis statement, essentially negative in that it devalued the foundational principle that all men are created equal. So there is a sample. Now, you can't use that. Your thesis statement must be yours. It should be original to you and your thoughts and your ideas. Here we go. Manifest Destiny was caused by blank. You want to fill in this blank here if you're going to use the template, and affected blank while being essentially, choose one or the other, positive or negative, in that it blank. Okay, use phrases that create a historically defensible line of reasoning. Single words will not do. You have to make a claim. You want to think, step back, think broader. You don't want to say that an effective manifest destiny was the Mexican-American War. You can't really, that's not something that is historically defensible. It's not a position on something. You're not really taking a position on something. So make sure that your thesis statement is in fact a historically defensible claim. And as stated here on the bottom, you may, not required, but you may submit a thesis for feedback on this no later than the 6th of January 2021. So that concludes the first major step in your essay writing, the sample thesis, or excuse me, the opening of contextualization, describing the broader historical context, and then the thesis statement. So that is ultimately the conclusion of your first paragraph.